Good afternoon, our viewers, and welcome to our lunch hour program. My name is Edwin, and as always, it is a delight to have you join us. Again, we remind you that the Hour of Hope is a show that comes to you every Tuesday and every Thursday between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. And on our show, we get to invite different kind of guests from doctors and nurses and counselors and all kinds of people, because we want to share the wealth of knowledge and information that they hear. On the set, I have Anne Wangoi. Anne has been with us on a previous show, and we invited her back again because Anne has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to matters concerning parenting and family issues. And Anne is a counseling psychologist by profession, and I'm going to give her a minute to say hi to our viewers before we get to our topic. Anne, karibu sana.
Asante.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Please take a minute and say hi to our viewers.
Yeah. Good afternoon, viewers. My name is Anne Wangoi. As you have heard, I'm a counseling psychologist, currently working in a government institution and mostly working with young people.
Awesome.
Thank you for
Good to have you.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for showing up in our show. So today we want to talk about dating. Dating is a very hot topic, especially among young people. And among some of the questions we want to find out is, Anne, is there an appropriate age to start dating? Number two, we want to find out, what are the do's and don'ts while dating? And we want to know what is the impact of peer pressure when it comes to dating. And last but not least, we want to find out, should parents have a say in who their children are dating? So this is going to be an amazing show. So please share the link with your friends and tune in. So some statistics before we start.
Yeah.
Gen Z, according to a government census report, they constitute 33% of Kenya's population. Think about it,
Yeah,
33%.
Yeah.
So basically, if Kenya has a population of about 54 million, that means 18 million Kenyans are Gen Z.
Yeah.
That's a huge population, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And Gen Z are different from millennials.
Yeah.
They're different from Gen X. Yeah. So
the
issues they're dealing with is different from the issues we've had to deal with. So today we want to find out, Anne, when it comes to dating, and more so concerning Gen Z. First and foremost, we want to find out, what is the appropriate age to start dating?
Okay. Thank you. When it comes to dating, I would say there is no appropriate age, but definitely one has to be a young adult.
Yeah.
You can't date as a teen. What are your reasons for dating? Okay. And when we talk about age, there's the chronological age.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean because you are old, you are mature. So when you talk about age, there's a factor of being mature. And the number of years doesn't necessarily mean that someone is mature.
I like that. So basically, there's no a specific age. You cannot say that once you're 13 or 14, you are ready for. It talks about maturity.
Maturity. Exactly.
Are you able to handle the responsibility that comes with dating?
Very true.
And the reason I'm saying that is because when we were growing up, for us, dating was really not so much a big thing when we were teenagers. It was almost like a taboo.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
We used to date like in each feature.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then Gen Z are different.
Yeah.
Because even as when they're in their pre-teens, they're already dating.
Exactly.
You get it?
Yeah.
And again, this is a huge issue when it comes to parents, because most parents are saying, okay, I have a Gen Z. She's 13 years old, and already she's receiving phone calls from boys. Yeah. How do I go about that?
Yeah.
How do I talk to my daughter or my son concerning dating? So basically what you're saying to parents is, there's no specific age per se.
Yeah.
It all matters about your maturity.
Exactly.
And whether you're able to handle the responsibility that comes with dating. Is that what you're saying?
That is what I'm saying. But also there's the factor that when a child is done with schooling, and that means college, university, okay, then from there on, they are open. They open up for dating.
Yeah.
And I know there are those who want to date immediately I'm done with school. They feel like now I'm grown up.
Yeah.
Now I'm responsible for my life. I believe it is the parent's responsibility to introduce the topic concerning dating, so that you can draw a line as a parent, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, and then guide your child. Okay? In today's society, if you don't give guidance to your children, someone else is waiting to give them guidance.
True.
And chances are they will get the wrong guidance.
From the wrong
forum. They'll get wrong information from the wrong forum.
Yeah.
So as children grow up, this would be my advice to young people. When you're done with your college, when you're done with university, and probably you have something going on soon. Maybe you're doing a small business, probably you're employed, then you can start thinking of dating.
So, sorry to cut you short.
Yes.
When they are in high school,
Yes.
are they allowed to have friends of the opposite sex?
It is very healthy.
Yes.
Very important and very healthy.
Okay.
There are those who never have that opportunity. And now, by the time they are going to university, now they're responsible for their lives. Probably they're not coming home, they are boarding. You see, if they've not had the opportunity to interact with the opposite sex, it becomes very difficult for them. Yes, when you let them go to the world and they are very naive, it becomes very difficult. So it is important. It is important for a child to learn how to interact with the opposite sex at an early age.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is, yes, in high school you can have a friend of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
But don't call it dating.
Yeah.
Because our understanding of dating is you date when you're ready to take the relationship to the next level.
Very true.
But when you're in high school, you're just friends.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And later on in the show, we're going to talk about some of the terminologies that Gen Z are using, like situationship.
Yeah.
You get it? To try and demystify that.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying to Gen Z, to parents, is when your child is in high school, as long as you're offering them guidance, as long as they're accountable to you, they can have friends of the opposite sex, but that friendship has to be defined.
Yes, it has to be defined, and then you need to have boundaries. This far, we can go, You need to have boundaries, and you need to explain to them and let them understand that they can bring their friends home. I personally believe it is very important for my children to bring their friends home so that I can know who are they really close to.
Bring them home when you're there.
When I'm there, obviously.
Yeah, not when you're
let
not
them
there.
come and visit, okay? I want to understand, where are they coming from?
Who are they?
Who are they? What are their moral values?
Yeah.
It is very important.
True.
Yes. But when we lock them out, like, you can't have friends here, they will always look for a way.
Absolutely.
They will always look for a way.
Yeah. So you basically what you're saying is that as a parent, you have a Gen Z in the house. You should be hands-on parenting.
Yeah.
Do not assume that your child will know what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
Part of parenting has to do with stewardship, and stewardship is managerial possession. You manage, you take care.
Yeah.
So you guide them, you offer them guidance. But also at the same time, you don't want to be controlling. There's some parents who think that by advising them, they think controlling is advising. There's a difference.
There's a very big difference between controlling and advising. It is important to let our children go because they won't live in our houses, in our homes forever.
Right.
So you'd rather start teaching them early on being alone, on being responsible, because freedom comes with responsibility. So when you train them and you teach them in the right way, you have no need to fear. Yes, there's no need for you to fear. You trust that whatever I trained, whatever I taught my children, they can be able to implement them out there. Yeah.
And is it allowed for you as a parent to humanize your child? What do I mean by that? Allow them to make mistakes.
Yes.
And this is very important because again, when we're saying allow them to make mistakes, we're not saying allow them to go and experiment with sex and then come and learn the hard way. That's not what we're saying.
Exactly.
What we're saying is this, you humanize them in the sense that they are not perfect. Because if you expect perfection from them, you will lose them. Do you know that? Humanizing them basically means that sometimes they will fall, they will drop the ball. And when they do, that's not the time to be harsh on them. It's the time to pick them up.
It is very important to pick them up. Just let them know that people make mistakes and people are human. Okay? Just like you are human, you make mistakes as a parent, and also they make mistakes. So making a mistake is not the end of life, it's not the end of everything, but have they learned from the mistake they made? Have they learned? And then help them to move on. Bring them close. It's not time to bash them, Yeah.
So hands-on parenting is a must, especially this generation.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because if we don't talk to our children, there are other forums that are speaking to them.
Very
you
true.
know that.
Very true.
And sometimes what they hear out there may not necessarily correspond to your values as a parent.
Yes.
So the first voice they should hear when it comes to dating and sexuality and all of that is from the parent. Because what you say becomes the reference point of how they engage their relationship. And moving on, what are the do's and don'ts while dating? What can you tell to Gen Z? What do you do? What don't you do? Let's start with the don't. What should you do when dating?
This is what I believe. Human beings are made of the spirit, the mind, and the body. And we are first spiritual, then we are social beings, and then we are physical. So what I can tell the Gen Z, start your relationships right. Okay? And before you even start your relationship right, you know, dating should be a matter of choice and not necessity. When it gets to a point of it is a matter of necessity, probably someone is pressuring you out there. Probably you're looking at your age mate and you're thinking, oh, it's like everyone has a boyfriend, everyone has a girlfriend. I also need to be like them. And I believe when it is done from a matter of choice, it is when now you say, oh, I'm done with school, I'm done with college, I'm done with campus. I think I've gotten a job or I'm doing this small business. And I think right now it's right for me. Absolutely. So there should not be any pressure from anyone as to when you should date. Okay? It is very personal. And this is what I believe. I believe so much in self-love. When you love you don't see the need to go out looking for love. Because I tell people, when you go out looking for love, it is very easy for you to be manipulated. True. Because you came looking for it, I've given you the love. You know, anytime I feel like I can pull it under your feet, I can. Absolutely. You see? So it is very important for us to know ourselves, the self-concept that you have. And all this goes back to how did we grow? You know, did I grow up with a father who loves me? Did I grow up with parents who are affirming me? Because sometimes we date wrong. We have all the wrong reasons for dating. You know, I want to date so that I can be loved. Because at home there is no love. Absolutely. Probably you grew up in a home where there is violence, you know. So you're looking for peace somewhere else. And now you look for it in the wrong place. You know? So you get yourself into a situation, actually they say from the frying pan into the fire. Yes.
And I'm glad you say that because again, Gen Z, you have to tell them what love is. Most young people think love is sex. Most people think love is emotions, which is not.
It is not.
Definitely when you like someone, there is chemistry. There's that attraction. You know, there are those hormones that are released in your brain that makes you feel attracted to that person. But love is not necessarily those feelings. And love, you don't show love to your boyfriend or girlfriend by sexual activity. You see, this generation, we have intermingled sexuality with love. But they should be separated. So when we're talking about looking for love, find out what is that love. I know you know this, but in the Greek there are 4 kinds of love. There's erotic love, filial love, storge love. And Greeks are able to define this love from that love. So the love maybe the child is looking for is a father-child, mother-child love. But when they go out there and date someone, that person is only giving them erotic love. So that lack of understanding between the differences of love is what is causing many young people to go looking for love. They're looking for a fatherly, maybe a motherly kind of affection, but they get into sexuality because you don't understand the difference. So there's a difference between love and sexuality. And many young people don't understand that. So as a parent, what would you tell a fellow parent when it comes to talking to your child about what love is?
Exactly. First of all, it's not, talking is very important, but showing it, first and foremost, you need to show. I listen because children, they need to be accepted. They need to be loved. They need to be affirmed. Those are the love languages for children, you know. If you don't give them that, someone out there is waiting to tell your daughter how much they love them. And they actually don't love them. They want to use them.
Of course.
You see?
Yeah.
So for a parent, even before you tell them and they try to explain to them, first do it in action. Love them. You know? You always talk about the feeling the tongue, you know? The emotional tongue.
Yeah.
If a parent doesn't feel that emotional tongue, that child will go out there and look for someone else to feel it.
Yeah.
And definitely they will fall into the wrong hands.
Absolutely.
So for parents, as you talk and advise and let your children understand, show it.
Show it.
After you show it, your children will even be able to come to you and tell you, man, I think there's this guy I want to date. Do you think it's time? They will consult with you. It is very important for a child to come back and consult with you. But have you created that environment?
In the first place.
In the first place, you need to create it.
Yeah.
Yes, even if they fall in love and they're telling you how I'm in love with this man, and then their second year, take it slow. Help them to take it slow. Okay? Encourage them, as I said, to bring their friends home.
Yeah.
So that you be able to know these are the people, the kind of people my children are hanging out with. These are their values, you know?
Yeah.
So it is a huge responsibility to the parents.
True. And the reason why it is important for parents to encourage the Gen Z to bring their friends home.
Yeah.
Because basically, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. You get it?
Yeah.
Because values are transferable, habits are transferable.
Yes.
So when it comes to dating, and you put it very well, please let your child know there's a difference between sexuality and love. Love is a verb, it's what you do.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, people say, oh, I've fallen in love with that person, No, you've not fallen in love.
Yeah.
It's a rush of hormones
Exactly.
that you're feeling
Yeah.
that make you feel you're in love. Love is commitment. Love is hard work. Love is sacrificial.
Yeah.
Isn't it? If you're really, really honest.
Yeah.
So with most young people, yes, there are those feelings.
Yeah.
But those feelings are part of the chemistry you're growing up. They come
and it's not every day you wake up feeling, I love my husband or I love my wife.
Yeah.
There are days when you wake up and you feel like, oh, really? Do I really have to do this? You know? And when I was talking about the spirit, the mind and the body, the social media, everywhere you look around, they want the young people to start their relationship from the physical.
Oh, I'm glad you hear that.
Yes. Yeah, we just drive into, now we are physical. But I think the most important thing is, when you're interested in someone, what are their values? What are their interests? What are their dreams? What motivates them? Even intellectually, you know? So we start from the wrong. Physical should be the last thing.
It should be after your marriage.
It should be, yeah. So the young people find themselves in a place whereby they are emotionally and deeply connected to someone in their life. You know, they become intimate so soon. You know, they don't know anything about the other person. They don't know what they want in life. Okay? So do you want to continue with your studies? They know nothing. They don't understand even purpose. You know? And as I tell young girls, the word of God says, where there is no vision, people perish. A man is a visionary. So you date a man who has no vision, you perish together. It is that simple.
Yeah.
You perish together.
And also something else that is very important.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand this.
Yeah.
Most young people think if they have sex, it adds their value. But actually being intimate devalues it. Do you know people who have multiple sexual partners struggle with self-esteem?
Yeah.
Yes, they struggle with self-esteem.
Yeah,
because
there's something they're trying to feel.
There's something they're trying to feel.
Yeah.
And actually, your value increases when you keep yourself, but your value decreases when you give yourself.
Exactly.
And this is something that Gen Z don't understand.
Yeah.
Because again, this culture glorifies sexuality a lot.
Yeah.
So most young people think, oh, I'm a teenager, I have a rush of hormones, everyone is doing it, I should do it. But really, they should understand that what we were taught, old school kind of thinking, the more you keep yourself, the more your self-esteem goes up. Isn't it? So it is very important for people to understand that sexuality should not define you. And when you're dating, let it not be on the table.
Yes, it shouldn't.
Go see movies. do fun things together, skating,
exactly.
do church things together.
Yeah.
But let not sex be on the table
at all.
As long as it is on the table, your chances of being hurt are very high.
Very high.
Because,
yes.
when you're a teenager and you're dating and you claim to be in love, that person is not ready for commitment. They don't have commitment. They don't even know what commitment is.
Yeah.
So it's a relationship that will last 6 months, 1 year. At most, you break up, you move on to the next.
Yeah, with a heartbreak, you're left with a heartbreak.
Exactly.
And I also encourage young people to have standards.
Yeah.
Have standards and also understand, now, these are my standards. I'm not going to compromise them. It's not just a matter of having standards.
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow people to sway me, in order to fit into I have my own standard.
Yeah.
If you don't have standard, anything goes for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you have standard, beyond it, I can't go.
Yeah.
And also encourage young people to have. Yes. If I decide, for example, a young man can decide, I don't want to get married or to date a girl who has a child. So you have no business going along that line. Yeah. So you should have your standards and that which this I can't do. And I'm not saying, yes, I know it's very important not to have extremely high standards. You need to come to what is humanly possible.
Yeah.
But standards are important.
Yeah.
And apart from having the standards, knowing that I'm not going to compromise on my standards. Yes.
Yeah. And the reason we're having this conversation is it's very important for us to understand, if you're a young person, a Gen Z, and you've not yet ventured into dating, if you do some of the things we're sharing with you, they will protect you from a lot of pain.
Exactly.
A lot of hurt.
Yeah.
Because experience is a harsh teacher.
Yes, very harsh.
If you learn by experience, you learn the hard way. If you learn by instruction, you exempt yourself from a lot of pain. Now, when I was young, I wish we had this forum. I wish I had someone who would tell me what you're saying, because I made mistakes. You made mistakes, isn't it?
Yes, we did.
And looking back in retrospect, if I had this kind of information, probably I would have made better choices and decisions. So you mentioned young girls, single girls having children. Some of them, it's not out of choice. They didn't know any better. So we don't condemn them. And basically what we're saying is that, yes, you can still get married and have a family when you're a single parent.
You can.
But to those who are not yet there, it's very important for you to understand that you can actually keep yourself until the right time. So one of the things we encourage young people is to practice delayed gratification. What does that mean? There's a time and a space for everything. So when you're young, there's a time for education, there's a time for discover your purpose, your talent. You get it? But when the time comes for you now to take to the next level of relationship and dating, then you'll be ready for that. So delayed gratification says, at this time in my life, I'm not ready for this. But that time will come and I'll be able to do all those. So what we're saying is, be patient. Don't rush into these things. Isn't it? Yeah.
And young people need to understand, being alone doesn't mean you're alone. Enjoy your company. Enjoy you. When the other person is coming, they're not coming to rescue you from problems, because these young people, you'll be surprised, they have so many crazy reasons as to why they're dating. You need to understand, when I'm dating, you need to understand this, that there are dangers and there are benefits.
True.
Yes, there are dangers and there are benefits. You can actually find yourself dating someone, and along the way, you realize this man is very insecure, or this girl is very insecure, So you need to get into it with a very sober mind, so that you can be able to see the red flags.
Absolutely.
Yes. Sometimes you see the red flags and we turn back and you're like, no, I can't see them. And they will catch up with you someday. So many young people are just giving a blind eye to red flags. And they're desperate. Dating is not for the desperate. Yes, because when you're desperate, I promise you, you will date wrong. You date wrong, it ends up in marriage.
Absolutely. And also, if you have self-esteem issues,
yes,
don't date yet.
Exactly. Deal with you.
Deal with you
with
first.
Your issues.
Because sometimes young people date toxic people. Because they're trying to fill a void. You mentioned that. Their self-esteem is so low that they will settle for anyone. Irrespective of whether that person meets their standards or not. So, If you have self-esteem issues, first of all, deal with it.
Yes.
So that you know your worth, you know who you are.
Yes.
So that now when you start dating, you've already healed,
Yeah.
and you're able to have the confidence to say, okay, yes, you're handsome, yes, you're beautiful, but your values are not my values.
They're not my values, and you walk away.
You walk away.
Peacefully.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that will save you a lot of heartache.
Exactly.
A lot of pain, because
Yeah.
many young people have learned the hard way.
Yeah.
You know, and I know in our profession, in our line of work, there's so many young people who are right now dealing with sexually transmitted infections.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Very true.
So many young girls, unfortunately, have gotten pregnant out of wedlock, and they are struggling.
You're struggling.
They are struggling.
It's not easy.
Because they succumb to peer pressure. And peer pressure is very huge among young people.
Yeah.
Because they want to fit in.
Yeah.
They want to be accepted by the group.
Yeah.
But when you have healthy self-esteem, you'll have the confidence to say, even though everyone is doing it,
Yeah. This
I don't
is not
have to
for
do
me.
it.
I don't have to do
At
it.
this time in my life,
Yes.
I'm not ready for this.
Exactly.
Because there's a time for everything. So,
Yeah.
what we're talking about the do's and don'ts while dating. So, what number one, when you're dating, take sex out of the table,
No, don't become physical in any way.
and let that person you're with let them know.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm willing to date you.
Yes.
But on a platonic level. Can we be friends?
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's take sex out of the table.
Yes.
So if he agrees, if she agrees, fine. If they don't agree, then you walk away.
I like what you said about being friends. And I pray and hope that young people can understand this. When you start dating from a point of, oh, I'm in love, your judgment is clouded.
Yeah.
This person will do things and you'll feel like, no, I'm in love. I've met so many of them who are in very crazy situations. They're not married, they're dating, but they're like, I'm in love.
Yeah.
You see, because your judgment is so clouded by this thing you call love, and it is a feeling that comes and goes.
Yeah.
So it is very important for young people to understand. Can we just become friends and see where it goes from here?
Yeah.
Yes, let's go out for the coffees. Let's go to Longonot. Let's go with a group to wherever it is that they are going. But start from a point of friendship.
And the challenge this generation is facing is this.
Yeah.
The culture of the day is a culture that zeroes in relationship on sex.
Yeah.
So what they're seeing on social media, what they're seeing from influencers, is, monkey see, monkey do.
Very
get
true,
it?
yeah.
So, but what you're saying in terms of dating, go for excursion, go for hikes, go for camping. To this generation, to some of them, it is alien.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Because this generation is thinking, for me, to in the out, to in the club, do this and do that. Netflix and chill.
Exactly.
Netflix and chill means you watch a movie, then have sex.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
So the culture is informing them wrong.
Very wrong.
So that means this generation has to renew their mind and rediscover what is dating.
Yeah. Because I tell young people, and especially young girls, I talk to young girls a lot. And this confusion of sex is love. See? I tell them, you can sleep with a man and in the morning they can't remember your name. It is so sad. What does it do to you? Women are emotional beings. It hurts you. And some women, young girls are thinking, I give my body to you. What do you mean you don't love me? But men are like, wait, me, I'm not there. Yeah, it was just a by the way. You see? So you're left hurting. You're left confused. Some of them end up hating men. Some of them go on a revenge thing and they're like, no, I will sleep with all the men. I will misuse them. You're losing it. You're losing it. Yeah.
So again, it's very important to know who you are, know your values, and stick to them.
Yeah.
And I know some of the things you're saying, they seem so idealistic, like unachievable.
Yeah.
But these are some of the guidelines you can follow as a young person that will save you from a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. Because we made mistakes.
Yeah.
Some of the things we're sharing, we made those mistakes. But looking back again in retrospect, if we had this information, this knowledge, we would have made better choices and decisions. Because having grown up, being a bit more mature, now you understand what really matters.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, get sex out of the table. Number 2, make sure that when you are dating, you do not subscribe to pornography as a point of reference.
Exactly.
Pornography leads to addictions.
Yeah.
Addictions leads to stress, depression, anxiety.
Yeah.
So the culture of the day, Anne, has normalized pornography, which is so wrong.
It is so wrong. The word of God says, as a man thinketh,
So is it. Yeah.
what you expose yourself to, I promise you in a few days or weeks or months you become what you expose your mind to,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. Because you need to keep yourself pure. Honestly, you need to keep yourself pure. And I know the guilt and the shame because I've dealt with young people who are into masturbation and pornography. The guilt and shame, you know? Yeah. And they come and they tell you how they cannot even look at that person they're calling a boyfriend or a girlfriend, the person they're dating, because they're ashamed of what they're doing, you know? In their secret rooms. It's crazy for them. It's crazy. Yes.
And the thing about these behavioral addictions is that as ishangi ukimaliza teenage years, it follows
you.
So there are men who are grown up who are still dealing with those things, isn't it?
Yes.
Because the thing about pornography is one of those behavioral addictions that is associated with shame.
Yeah.
And because it is associated with shame, very few people are willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
And once it has a grasp on you, it doesn't let go easily. It's a struggle, it's a tug of war. So again, for Gen Z and for young people, let not pornography be a point of reference when you want to learn about sex and sexuality. One of the things I wish someone told me is that the way God built us, that sexuality is something that is inborn. It is something that kicks in naturally.
Naturally.
It is something that is natural.
Yes.
You don't have to be taught. You don't have to go to school to learn about it.
No.
It is a natural instinct. So when the right time comes, it will kick in and you will know what to do.
And now when you're talking about it, something natural, when I'm talking to teenagers and I normally let them know, it's important for them to understand, yes, they are growing. Their voice is deepening for the young men. The girls, their hips are growing and everything. But also their sexual feelings are growing. Okay? And it is okay to talk about it, you know? Let's not make it, we make it a taboo. So our children are really struggling. Some of them don't know what is happening to them, you know? And that is why when they go to boarding schools, they turn to lesbianism to try and quench whatever it is.
The curiosity makes them want to experiment.
Yes. But when you start early and letting them know this is normal, God created you, that at this age, this is what you'll be going through. And this is a stage, and it won't last forever, but it is ushering you into another stage, you know, of reproduction. It is important for them to understand.
So again, going back to what you said initially, parents can no longer be hands off, be hands-on. I mean, when your child is still in the preteen stages, 10, 11, 12, talk to them about these things. Let them know beforehand. By the way, as you approach teenage, this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. Why is that important? When you create that rapport with your child, when that time comes, they'll come back to you and say, Mom, what you told me is happening. How do I go about it? So the foundation you lay is key. Because if you try to now talk to your Gen Z child and you didn't form that bond, they're not going to come to you. They're going to listen to their friends. They're going to listen to the internet and they'll make poor choices and decisions, which a lot of it can be avoided. Another thing when you're dating as Gen Z, make sure you do not date in secluded places. That's a recipe for disaster. So let's say, for example, your parents have gone out and you invite over your girlfriend, your boyfriend, and it's just the two of you. I don't care how prayerful you are, how sincere you are, things will happen. Isn't it? So date in the open spaces for your good and for her good, isn't it? Because many people make that mistake. I mean, I'm strong.
And people need to understand that when it comes to dating, it's about understanding and learning the other person. You know, you learn each other. Okay, I don't know what people, if they go take coffee is coffee, just coffee. It is important to talk. It is important to speak up. These are my values. These are my standards. These are my expectations. You know, speak about them. Because when you're quiet, the other person doesn't know. So when you go out there, you're not just going out there to fool around, but talk real issues. How did you grow up? Yes. Was your mother and father okay? Or they were killing each other in the house? Because as I said, the mind is comfortable with the familiar. Some of these behaviors are just transferable.
Absolutely.
Yes. Understand where is this person coming from, the family he grew up in. It is very important.
Now, most Gen Z don't know what you're saying, huh?
Yeah.
Because that's not the culture.
Exactly.
So maybe they're listening to you. It's like, hey, because this culture doesn't talk about those things.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, of course, dating, maybe we'd go out on a coffee date, have a drink and everything.
Yeah.
But this generation is different. They can meet each other online, and by evening they're together.
Thank you.
You get that? So they don't understand the process that it takes for you really to be with someone.
Yeah.
So for them, it is more physical.
It is physical.
It is all about physical. But it shouldn't be physical, should not be on the table.
It should never
as
be
long
on the
as you
table.
are a teen.
Yes. Even a young adult.
Yeah, it shouldn't be on the table.
Yes.
Why? Not because it is bad. It is not the right time.
It is not the right time. And it comes with responsibilities.
It comes with responsibility and consequences.
Consequences are there.
And more so, and we'll talk about this in another show, in this generation, statistics show that there's a high prevalence of STIs among young people, like gonorrhea and syphilis.
Yeah.
Why? Because the more sexually active you are as a young person, the more you predispose yourself to STIs.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are some of the reasons why we are saying sex should be off the table for now. Be platonic in your relationship with a boy and another girl. Make sure there are guidelines. Get to know each other. Share common values. Common interests, but let it not be physical.
I've interacted with young people, and you've said people meet online, social media and everything. And there are so many apps out there, dating apps for the young people. And you'd be surprised to know that a young person can meet someone on the app. They chat. After 2 weeks, they are meeting. And they're not in the same town.
Yeah.
I don't know, is it bravery? Is it boldness? Don't understand it. And someone traveled from Nairobi to Busia, or from Nairobi to very far, Mombasa. They are going to meet someone they've never seen.
Yeah.
And they are going alone. Young people, even as they date, please be safe. Who is this person you're going to meet?
Yeah.
Who is this person you're going to meet? If it is very important for you to meet them, tag along someone. Yeah, you don't know them.
Absolutely.
And you don't meet people after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No, you don't meet people after 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Yes, you need to have enough time, and keep yourself
and
safe.
Especially when it comes to dating online. Understand something?
Yeah.
When I'm on the other side of the internet, I will fake it.
What you see is not what you get.
You only get 0.1%.
Yeah.
And when you go to meet that guy, that girl, chances are they will take you to an Airbnb. Now, the thing is this. If this generation lacks these guidelines, that's why they make these mistakes. Yeah. So when you date someone, I know there are people who've met online and they are successfully happy. But it's very rare.
Yeah, it's very rare.
When you meet someone online, the first thing is be skeptical.
Yeah.
Be skeptical, be skeptical, be skeptical.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yes.
That is the only way you can be safe. Don't trust. No, be skeptical.
Yeah.
What I normally tell young people, the best place to find someone to date is your local church.
Local church, it's true.
When you go on excursions, when you go on...
And people you grew up with.
Yeah, in your community. Date someone unajua, ule jamaa anajua kwao. I know where I can find them. There's a higher level of safety. But when you date someone, you're in Wangige and he's in Kayole. I mean, come on. You get it?
Yeah.
You don't know that person.
Yeah.
So the safe places to meet people is where? Your local church is good, eh? When you go out, maybe even in college, in campus, colleagues. Isn't it?
Yes,
maybe if you are young and employed in your work, colleagues, workplaces, you get people at least they know people you know.
Exactly.
At least unaweza jua huyu anajulikana na huyu na huyu. But if you date someone that no one within your circles knows you put yourself at risk.
At risk, yeah. And that is why you're asking the question of where does a parent come in? How does a parent help their child when it comes to dating? Be open.
Yeah.
Be open with your child. So that even when they are going out for that date, you know who is this person.
Yeah.
Or they are coming to pick them from your house, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, at least you know who is this person.
Yeah.
I've seen this person severally, you know? And as we were saying, we start from a point of being friends. You know, a friend is just a friend.
Yeah.
My kids will bring their friends home. They will go visit their friends' parents, you know? And then you get to see, oh, so these are the kind of parents. Ah, okay. Yes, that is how you learn.
Absolutely.
And understand.
Be a hands-on parent.
Yes.
Be a hands-on parent. And we've mentioned a little bit about peer pressure. And what I normally tell young people, peer pressure does not just happen to young people, even to us.
It
You know,
does.
peers, we have our peers.
Yes.
So when you see your peers are doing well in an area, you feel compelled. It affects everyone.
Yes.
But more so young people.
Young people, yeah.
Now, peer pressure is huge and we cannot deny it.
Yes.
And what we're saying is when it comes to peer pressure, when you have values like you mentioned,
Yes.
and you see your friends doing something that is not consistent with your values,
Yeah.
that's where you draw the line.
Exactly.
You say, I like you, you're my crew and everything, but what you're doing, I'm not going to do.
Yes.
Because we've seen many people, for example, we've had examples of young girls come and tell us, oh, the reason I was vaping is because when we were walking from church, my friends were vaping and I didn't want to be left out. You get it? They didn't want to, but because they didn't want to be left out.
They want to be in a class, they want to fit in.
They want to fit in.
Yes.
Peer pressure is all about fitting
Yes.
in. But when you know your values, when you know who you are as a young person, and you know this is not consistent with who I am and what I want to do, then you'll have the courage to say, okay, mnaenda kuvape, mnaenda kufanya hivi, tuonane next time. And they will respect you. Your friends may mock you there, but they will respect you.
But at the end of the day, they're like, yeah, that girl has done that. Yeah, that girl knows who she is, or that guy knows who they are. And as we encourage the young people in the area of dating. Dating leads to something.
Yeah.
Are you ready? You know?
That's the most important question. Are you ready for dating?
Are you ready for dating?
Yeah.
Are you ready for the next level?
Yeah.
So what I think and what I feel is, let's wait. You know, it's okay to wait. Let's wait until when we feel like, oh, by the way, if I'm going to date, yes, I'm dating and it leads to marriage. You know, this thing of dating, breaking hearts, they know it's not this one, is becoming too much.
It is too much.
Yeah.
And you know, there's so many young people who are dealing with even mental health issues.
Mental health because of dating.
They have been heartbroken.
Yes.
There are so many young girls who say, man, I'm done with men.
Done. I'm a feeling I'm not good enough.
Exactly. The comparison.
Yeah, the comparison.
Yeah. Yes. Which affects, again, your self-esteem. So many young people. I know of young people who go into binge drinking because they broke up.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to handle the breakup.
Exactly.
You get it?
Yeah.
Because you had invested all your feelings into that relationship.
Yes.
And now you don't know how to move on without that person.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is this. 99% of the time you're dating as a young person, the likelihood of you ending up with that person in the long run is very slim.
Very slim.
Because as a teenager, you don't really know who you are. You don't know what you want.
Exactly.
You've not discovered your purpose.
Yes.
So date, make it platonic.
Yeah.
Don't involve feelings.
Feelings, yes.
Just make it platonic.
Yeah.
He's my friend. She's my friend. We have similar interests.
Yeah.
We finish high school. If you go to college, you go to campus. Yes. After that, if something else comes up, remember we had gone to visit some of our friends. And they were sharing with us, telling us how they met in campus.
I remember quite a big percentage of all those couples were like, it was a couple's dinner.
Yeah.
You know, and they were like, we met in campus.
They met in CU.
Yes.
And they were just singles, but they met in CU. And 80% ended up marrying each other. And now, several years later, they're all successful, they're doing well, and they have still maintained that friendship.
Yes.
And we were saying to ourselves, that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's how, exactly.
It's in there.
Yes.
Yeah. So they kept it clean. They made friends. They shared similar interests.
Yeah.
But until they were ready now for marriage, that's when they took it to the next level.
Yes.
And most of those marriages, we realize they are still happily married.
Yes.
Exactly. But they are committed because they laid the right foundation.
Very true. And foundation is key.
Foundation is key.
Yes.
In everything we do.
In everything that we do, foundation is key.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So it is never too early to start to talk to your teenage about how to date.
Yes. It's never
too early.
And especially more so when they are done with high school. You know, now they have the freedom. This is not that little girl you are taking to school, picking them up, do shopping for them. Now they go shop for themselves. So it is important to talk to them, help them understand. Actually, learn from them. What do you understand? What is dating? What do you understand about dating?
Yeah.
Then when you hear them out, you are able to correct. No, this is not right. This is right. Okay. You have a say in the life of your child.
Yeah.
But again, as you said, it has to start very early in life.
And you
You just don't show up.
And it's a thin line between advising and controlling.
And controlling.
Because we've seen parents who have so much control that the teenagers cannot wait to leave home and do their own things.
And when they go, they go.
They go.
Yeah.
So some of the terminologies and Gen Z uses situationship.
Yes.
What's a situationship?
I think it's a relationship that is not defined.
Yes.
It's neither here nor there.
Not there. It's a non-committal relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it can have benefits. You know what friendship with... millennials used to call it friendship with benefits. That means they're not dating, but sometimes they can have sex.
Oh.
You get?
Yeah.
You're dating, but you're not committed.
You're not
so
committed.
They're calling it situationship.
Yeah.
As we didn't grow up with that.
Yeah, we didn't grow up with that. No.
Because I remember I was talking to a particular Gen Z and she mentioned it. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
So I had to go look it up.
Yeah.
So situationship is a non-committal relationship.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It is a non-committal.
Yeah. And now you see, with dating, you have to be committed. It is either you are in it
or you're not.
Or you're not.
Or you're just friends.
Yeah. Don't play around with people's feelings. Don't, yeah, don't.
Another one is ghosting. What is ghosting?
Is when someone is not, suddenly they're no longer talking to you, they're no longer calling you.
Yeah.
I also had it from a young person. You know, they ghosted me and I'm like, okay. Okay, yes.
So you are dating, you're vibing, and then they no longer call you.
Yeah, suddenly.
They block you, whatever.
Yeah.
So they say, they've ghosted me.
You see some immaturity in all this. You see? Yeah.
Yeah, ghosting. Another one is love bombing. What is love bombing?
Love bombing is when they love you so much, and this is very dangerous. Yes, it can be very, very dangerous. Very, okay? Because people, narcissistic people, okay, who have that personality or that tendency, they love you until you can't breathe.
And then they drop you like a hot cake.
Thank you.
Yes.
And you're confused.
And you're confused.
And do you know they can pick you up again?
Yes.
Yes.
At their own convenience.
At their own convenience.
So it is a form of manipulation.
It's about them. Yeah.
It's a form of manipulation.
Yes.
So many Gen Z are facing these things.
Yeah.
Ghosting, situationship. And there are many others. You can't exhaust them.
Yeah.
There's another one called Riz. R-I-Z-Z. It's a playful term.
That's new to me.
It's a playful term for being in a relationship. It's fun, lighthearted, and a way to talk about your romantic. I've seen it on, you haven't seen it on TikTok?
Yeah.
Rizzing your spouse.
Rizzing your spouse. Okay.
Next time we'll have a Gen Z.
Yeah.
But it's a playful term for being in a relationship. It's fun, lighthearted, a lighthearted way to talk about your romantic status. So what Gen Z is dealing with is different from what the millennials dealt with, from what Gen X dealt with,
Very true.
and from what any other generation dealt with.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this platform is so important, and
Yeah.
because we're able to share our experience. It doesn't mean that our way is the best way.
Yes.
We're just speaking from experience to be able to have this conversation so that at least we can help someone.
Guide them in the
right
direction.
them, isn't it?
Yes.
And what we're saying, Anne, is if you are Gen Z and you're dating and you're stuck, cry out for help.
Exactly.
Cindy,
Yeah.
Cry out for help.
Yeah.
If you find yourself in a toxic relationship, there's verbal, physical abuse.
Yes.
Cry out for help. Emotional abuse.
Yeah, it's a lot.
If you've been love bombed, if you've been ghosted. Because young people, let me tell you, they go through mental illness. You know that?
Yes.
They go through depression
a
lot.
A lot.
And for young people, when they go through depression, they don't know how to deal with it. They even commit suicide.
They commit suicide. Yeah. Self-harm.
Self-harm.
Yeah, where they
it is
cut
huge.
themselves.
Yes.
And sometimes, when they wear their sweaters and they're like, they pull them. I'm not saying all of them.
Yeah.
You can't tell what has been happening.
They harm them even in their thighs, in their legs.
Yeah.
So this is very real. It is very real.
Yeah.
And I don't know, what are your parting shots?
My parting shot would be, young people should learn to wait. There's a time for everything.
There's a time for everything.
There's a time for everything.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you won't interact with the opposite sex.
No.
It is very important to interact with them, be around them, have fun with your friends, okay?
Yeah.
But dating is a serious matter.
Yeah.
It's a serious matter that could lead to marriage, okay? It does lead to marriage to those people who know what they're doing. So if you're not ready, please wait and let it not be a matter of necessity. When it is a matter of choice, it is good because you feel like, oh, I've achieved this, I've done this, I think now I'm ready. Yes. Yeah. Be ready for it.
I love that because again, you've basically summarized what you'll be talking about. Listen, young people, when Gen Z, dating is when you're ready to commit.
Yeah.
And because as a Gen Z, you're still a young person, I'm sure you're not ready to commit. So choose to have friendship basis. Yes, you can have a friend of the opposite sex, but make that relationship platonic. What does that mean? It means that you're friends. It means you're friends, and that's it. Because you still have a long way to go before you enter into commitment. So if you invest emotionally in a relationship right now, the chances of heartbreak are high because both of you are not ready to be in a committed relationship. You don't even know what love is. You're still in your parents' home, eating your parents' food, depending on your parents. So how can you now get into a position where you think, I have found the person I want to be with? No, you are just experiencing a rush of hormones that make you feel attracted to the other person, which is natural, which is okay, but don't make it long term. Be friends first. Develop that culture of friendship. And as you do so, you'll be able to learn how the opposite person feels and thinks and behaves. So that when you get ready to be in a committed relationship, this friendship you've formed over the years will help you better make good choices and decisions. Focus on school, focus on your studies, focus on going to campus, to college, focus on your gift, on your talent. And until you get to the point where you have an income, you are self-sufficient, you are stable, then you can start now thinking about, I feel like I can date, and a dating that can really do commitment. These are the things you need to put in place to make sure you don't suffer heartbreak, you don't suffer pain, you don't suffer heart, you don't get yourself into a situation where you have a child out of wedlock or you're having a sexually transmitted infection. Put these guidelines in place so that you can better protect yourself. But from Thai, we want to say we love you. Thank you, Anne, for being our guest.
Thank you for
She'll be a regular in our guest, God willing. Remember, our show comes to you every Tuesday, every Thursday between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. But from us, from Dimkestai, we want to say we love you. We are praying for you. God bless you.